Hello class. The name of this video is called Final Control Program, Initializing Your Variables and Defining Your Variables and Defining Your Constants. I decided to make this video to help explain uh, the idea behind my starter program. Um, what I did was I tried to give you a start on writing your final program by first trying to set some directions, an example of setting directions. I made my directions very easy. I decided the first 8 inputs would be, the first pins would be inputs and the last group of pins would be outputs. So what that means is P0 through P7 will be inputs and pins 8 through pin 15 will be outputs. This is just an example. You, from your circuit diagram, know the direction of your pins. So you can change this to match the direction. Also, I'm using the smart greenhouse as an example. I created some variables here that I know that I will need when I use my program. So I created a variable for just about all of my inputs and outputs that I need. And I made sure that the size of that variable matched the type of input. For example, let's look at a test switch. A test switch can only have 2 positions, on or off. Therefore, a test switch can only be off or on, 0 or 1. So there's only 2 choices for that, on or off. So I only need to define a bit to represent the value of this test switch. I also put an X in front of the word to represent input. Normally in math, we use X as the independent variable, or the input, and Y as the dependent variable, or the output. Likewise, my motion sensor is also a bit variable. Now over here, if I look at moisture, well, their moisture is connected to an analog to digital converter. And their analog to digital converter reads values into the microcontroller and stores them as an 8-bit number. An 8-bit number. What is another word for 8 bits? Well, another word for 8 bits is byte. Therefore, you can see in the program that I have defined their moisture input as a byte variable. So now this will hold the value or the status of the moisture as read from the analog to digital converter. Now proceeding on to output variables. In their project they have a couple of lamps and a valve, and basically once again these components can only operate in 2 positions, on or off. The valve, you turn it on or off. A light, you turn it on or off. Again, there's only 2 positions for this, on or off. Therefore, I reserved, or I have saved, a bit to represent the condition of the lamp, and I created a bit to represent the position of the valve. So this is defining my variables. And now I check to see if my program has any errors. And then I take a quick look at the memory. You can see now that the Basic Stamp compiler has reserved some spaces here in memory to represent my bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits, and I have a couple of bytes there. Here's a byte and here's a byte. These up here are words, and those are used for other commands that I'll describe to you later. Thank you.